Statistics Unit Overview. Welcome to our end of the unit review quiz that basically just combines a few problems from every single one of our mini quizzes this whole unit and then gives you a chance to see how much you've learned and on some additional practice on all these concepts. If you're new to the class and you didn't get to do everything with this unit before, no worries. I'm still going to go over every single problem step by step to help you out. But if you're somebody who has, maybe you could pause this video now, try working on the problems, and if you're stuck on any of them, then you could fast forward this video and go from there. Totally up to you though. I'm going to dive right in and get going. Number 1 says, a movie studio surveys all the adults in an audience leaving a children's movie by asking the adults to rate the film. So this is from our random sampling assignment where we figured out, are we biased or representative in the way that we're conducting our survey? A reminder that bias means you're unfair. It means you're targeting just a specific group, a group that's not representative of the whole population. So for instance, if I go to a children's movie and I only ask the adults, like this problem says, the adults might hate this kid's movie. You see this a lot. A kid really wants to go to some movie that they're excited about. Maybe it's not reviewed well at all. Every adult critic hates it, but the kids love it because it's geared to them. And if I ask only the adults at the end what you thought of the movie, well, just like, I don't know, like a Rotten Tomatoes rating sometimes is, like some of my favorite movies of all time that I'm so nostalgic about, like Home Alone, the Mighty Ducks trilogy. If you look them up, they're terrible reviewed because adults watched them and said, this is a terrible movie. It's not going to win an Oscar. I don't get it. But kids loved it. That's because this is a biased survey. If you're going to ask people what they thought of the movie, you have to include the kids. You got to include everyone, especially because it was a kids' movie. And if it's biased, it means that the population does not accurately represent the group as far as the population surveyed. So it's biased because word for word, the people in the sample do not accurately represent the entire population. Okay, then we move on to number 2, where we're reviewing something called the multiplication principle of counting, which I often make the analogy and the example of clothes in your closet. You can figure out how many different outfits you potentially own and can wear by taking the number of different items by category. So shirts, shorts, pants, scarves, socks, underwear, everything, and multiply them together. That number becomes the total number of outcomes or combinations. This is a problem that says a person chooses between 4 hats and 3 pairs of shoes. There are blank possible outcomes. Now, I hope they're wearing something other than this. It's just a hat and a pair of shoes, but hey, to each their own. This is a very simplified version where we just got to multiply our 4 times 3. I've got my Desmos calculator here. I also have my fraction reducer tab open in case we need that on this assignment. If we do, I'll just walk you through how to pull that up. For right now, just use your Desmos calculator, if you even need it, to multiply your numbers together. 4 times 3 might be something you can do in your head. All right, number 3. Jar A contains 1 marble, each of the colors blue, red, and white. Jar B contains 1 marble, each of the colors black, gold, and silver. Jar C contains 1 marble, each of the colors green, orange, purple, and yellow. How many outcomes are possible if you choose 1 marble from each jar? All right. Well, let's figure out how many combinations we have. It's just like our clothing problem. How many different items do we have in each jar? And then we'll multiply those numbers together. So I've got blue, red, and white in jar A. That's 3. I have black, gold, and silver. That's also 3 in jar B. And I've got green, orange, purple, and yellow in my Jar Jar Binks. Just kidding. Number 3, jar C. First time I have a number other than 3 is 4 for my colors, green, orange, purple, and yellow. So then I can multiply those together. 3 times 3 times 4. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 4 is 36. And again, you could use Desmos if you need to. But I'm not gonna do every one of these in Desmos because you can get the gist after one of how to do that. Off the charts. All right, number 4. Find the probability for the roll of a number cube. Reminder that a number cube is a fancy math word for a regular 6-sided die, like you use in Yahtzee. Write your answer as a simplified fraction. P4, another reminder, that means probability of rolling a 4. Well, we think about a regular 6-sided number cube. It has numbers 1 through 6. They all just appear once. So P4 is the same as P1, P2, P3, P5, or P6. It's 1 out of 6. Everyone's answer for number 4 should be 1 out of 6. 3, you could have had any different group of numbers in those jars, but everyone has the same number 4. All right, number 5. Now we've got the word proportion. Still doing simplified fractions because it's probability. Probability of getting an in. So this is one that we might have to use our fraction calculator. And to get that, just Google fraction reducer. And I clicked on the second one. The website, it's called, you can also look up calculator soup. It's like calculatorsoup.com/calculator. Okay. We can see the word proportion has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 letters. And so we can put that on bottom. And then however many of the letter you have, like in is what I have. So how many ins do I have in proportion? Oh, I have 1. And if you want to check if 1 out of 10 reduces, you can see it does not. It stays 1 out of 10. But you might have, I don't know, 2 out of 10. Or maybe you had like probability of getting a vowel and you had 4 out of 10. That would reduce. So check it if you don't know. If you miss it, just hit redo. And there you go. Number 6. Sarah surfs with her friends at Virginia Beach. Her friend Mark caught 6 waves out of 15 possible waves to ride into shore. That's pretty good. 6 out of 15. They stay out in the water for 45 more waves. Mark is likely to catch blank of the 45 waves. So this is one of those math problems. It's just an estimation. Mark might catch none of the rest of the waves. He might catch them all. He might give up halfway through and need to go to the bathroom. But for the sake of this problem, we're going to set up a proportion and multiply. So 6 out of 15 is what he caught. That's his ratio, his proportion. Then I can multiply that by how many other waves he's trying to stay out for, which is 45. All right, before I type that into Desmos, let me just give a little review here. I can cross multiply, or at least cross cancel. I know that 15 multiplies into 45 3 times. So if I divide both by 15, that becomes a 1. This becomes a 3. 1 times 1 on the bottom is just 1. I get left with the top. 6 times 3, 18. If that was super confusing, don't worry. I'll also check that in Desmos. So down here, let's go. We had 6 out of 15 times 45. And you can see you get 18 that way as well. Okay. 6 down. 2 to go. Cowabunga, dude. That's a surfing like Ninja Turtles pun. What the shell. Really appreciate that one. Oh, one of my favorite problems. How many ways can 6 people stand in line at the movies? All right. I always have to give this example. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I normally do 10. If you want that explanation, you could see it on the prior video for this unit. All right. I think this was in the probabilities and lists using like tree diagrams one. But for now, I'll just tell you. We've got 6 spots. So 6 friends standing in line at the movies. We know with the multiplication principle of counting, we're going to have to multiply between all of them. The first spot, there are 6 choices because I have 6 different options of people who could stand in line. Then someone stands in line, that leaves 5, then 4, then 3, then 2, then 1. So we need to multiply 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. This is a lot of math to do, so there's a special button. It steals the English exclamation mark, where if you have a number like 6 and you multiply it minus 1, minus 2, all the way down to 1, you could simplify that just by typing in 6 factorial. This is called in math. Okay? And I will prove it to you right now. So however many people you have standing in line in your problem, don't type this in yet, just watch my screen. You type that in. So if you have 5, you type 5. If you have 10, you type 10. If you have 6, you type 6. Then I've got times 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That is the same thing as 6 exclamation mark, or 6 factorial. Or, if you're screaming it, 6! 720 for both of them. So again, however many people you have, like 10 is my favorite, because 10 factorial is a really exciting large number. And because we're standing in line at the movies, RIP 90s, that answer is a blockbuster. Get to hear older people like me talk about that. You're like, I don't even know what that is. Is that like Netflix? Just no Blockbuster could have bought Netflix for like nothing, and they said, Netflix is just a fad. This whole streaming thing's going to go away. People are going to want to keep going to the store and rent videos. Dumb. Okay, final one is number 8. Mean median mode. Mean median mode. For this problem, I'm going to recommend you have something to write on. Unless you have like a screen like mine, like maybe you're doing this on a write-on tablet, then write on. Get it. I suggest that because the first thing you want to do is take your numbers and you want to write them in order from least to greatest. So I've got 15, 19, there's a 14 I'm just now seeing, 14, 15, 19, 24, 24, 28, 30. Let me count. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I've written out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, great. Let's do the median first. Median means middle. Just like when you're driving in the road and the median separates the two sides of the road in the middle. I really prefer crossing out your ends and then crossing out your new ends and then your new ends. The number in the middle is your median. If you have an even number of numbers, you would like add up the two middle numbers and then divide by 2. But we don't have two middle numbers because I just gave you an odd number of numbers for this problem. You're welcome. Then we do the mode. The mode is simply which one appears the most times or most often. Every number in my list appears once except for 24. It appears twice. So 24 is also my mode. And finally, we have the mean. The mean I'm going to have to get out of this and use my calculator for because it's average. So that means I got to add up all my numbers. Add has 2 D's. And divide by my number of numbers. Take a picture of this with your phone or just commit it to memory because I'm going to close this in 3, 2, 1, go. So I know my median is 24. I know my mode is 24. And now I need to find my average. I'm going to make a slash here right off the bat because that'll separate it where I don't have to use parentheses. And then on top, I'm going to just type in all my numbers added together. Because addition is what's called commutative, you don't need to worry about the order. You can just type them directly on the screen in the way they appear in your problem. And then on bottom, I divide by how many numbers I have, which I know is 7. You should not get a decimal for this. If you type it in wrong, you get a decimal. If you get a whole number, you're probably right. 22. That's my average or my mean. And that is what I mean. Boom goes the dynamite. Got them all right. 3 check marks. I didn't get a nice pun at the bottom, but if I click over it, I see 3 different times it says correct. And there you go. We've reviewed a lot of different concepts. I only give you 8 problems because some of these are multiple parts, especially that mean, median, mode one. Hopefully you found this to be affirming to what you've learned in this unit, and if you're brand new, welcome. Hopefully you learned a lot in the process. As always, this has been Class Away from Class. I hope this video finds you safe, happy, healthy, and well. Best wishes with your entire life. Until next time, Dilly out.